Hey friends and family, hey loved ones, how you doing today? Just wanted to share some things that's been coming up for me in this last week and this last month and this last cycle of growth and transformation and change. Life, death, life. Always, always. And so, yeah, it's Friday again. And the weeks just kind of fly by lately. The days fly by. The minutes fly by. Yeah, the weeks and the months fly by. The years fly by so fast. So I've been looking at all these cycles and reviewing them and just kind of noticing where I'm at. And accepting myself and being at peace and allowing myself to be where I'm at. And practicing, watching, witnessing, observing, suspending and surrendering, and just listening and taking the time to be and to relax and to love and to what's holding me right now, and connecting with my body and feeling more into everything and becoming more aware of what my being needs. And so that's different from moment to moment. Yeah. And sometimes I just need me to allow me to just be where I am. And so, yeah, I'll be talking about some of those things and how they relate to my process of alchemy and what I've been witnessing, watching, noticing, observing, and letting go of. Oh, but it's been a long week and cried a lot this week. Last Friday, we said goodbye to our little Abby dog. My husband and I, Scott, had her in our lives. We're blessed to welcome her into our lives in April of 2008. And so, yeah, she was with us a long time, and she was our little furry kid. And now that we're empty nesters, she was the last kid that was home with us. And so it's really hard to say goodbye. We love her so much. We loved her so much. And we just went and picked up her ashes today. This nice little cedar box here. Picked it up, and there's a little engraving. Abby, our great little ever dog. Because I used to tell her that she was the best ever dog ever. She was the cutest dog ever, the sweetest dog ever, and the bestest dog ever. She was our ever dog. And yeah, just remembering all the good times and all the fun times and all the sweet times together. It's like really just bittersweet, And we know she's happy and free of pain and peaceful. We know she's with us in spirit, and we can feel her with us. But, it's a big adjustment when the form changes, when life changes its forms, And so it's just been a little strange, like not having her here. And yeah, when it's we're so used to having her be with us, and we have certain routines and everything, and that's just like kind of an interesting process, like to kind of still think that she's here and let's go check on the dog, and then remembering that she's not she's not here in the same form anymore. And so we do miss that. We do miss seeing her and caring for her in the ways that we were, but yeah, It's been really nice to look at all sorts of pictures from over the years and to see all the changes and all the stages and all the phases and all the ages of her life and our lives and what we shared together. So it has been getting easier, a little bit easier every day. We cried buckets and buckets and buckets the first couple days. And so it just comes and goes in different waves. Yeah, these last couple days. And so, of course, when we got her ashes and just thought about her again, and start to cry again, and there's this little poem included with her ashes and her little plaque made me cry. It says, "There's something missing in my home. I feel it day and night. I know it will take time and strength before things feel quite right. But just for now, I need to mourn. My heart, it needs to mend. Though some say it's just a pet, I know I've lost a friend. And she was our best friend. Loyal, loving, sweet, kind, and so open-hearted, so trusting and loving and sweet and precious." So it's been beautiful. It's been hard. I'm so grateful to share this love and this grief, gratitude and sorrow with my husband. It's really helped us to be together and to share our sorrows together and to hold each other and to support each other. So I'm grateful for that. And yeah, it was really, really therapeutic to go through all our pictures and remember our happy times and all the moments. I know it was super good for Scott to put some cute little collage frames together, and he was working on that for a few days this last week. We filled up so many frames. So cute. And we had received an email from Lap of Love about connecting with others who have lost their pets, and there was a place for a little memorial, to write a little memorial, for our friend. And my husband decided to do that and to write her a little story, write his story, our dog's story. And that was just super sweet. And I just read that before coming downstairs to record, and that made me cry too. Just reading through what he expressed, and just the story that was in his heart. And it was just really touching to me, and I'm just so grateful that was healing for his heart to kind of pay a tribute to her and to share from his heart. And that's so beautiful to me, and I'm just so grateful for this portal of grief, for transformation, change, and deeper intimacy, deeper levels of intimacy with ourselves and each other, and just being willing to be vulnerable and transparent. And it is a beautiful thing. Grief is a beautiful thing. Expressing our love, that we have for those that we feel we've lost, that in certain ways, because we know we'll be with her again. But right now it's just that loss, of what we knew, and of that form that we were familiar with and very attached to. And so just contemplating life and death. And what love really is and what love really means. What love really means to me. What truly matters, what I truly value, and what I truly appreciate. And I do appreciate all the love and compassion and empathy and condolences and sympathy and prayers and blessings and sweet gestures of care and demonstrations from loved ones and friends and family. And so that was some of the most beautiful things that I'm so grateful for. Had some family members and friends come over the week before her appointment to come say goodbye, and it was really beautiful, really just such great heartfelt connections and true empathy that my loved ones have shown me. And I just wanted to share, how beautiful it was to share some sweet moments with my stepdaughter and my daughter and my goddess daughters when they came to say goodbye to Abby for the last time. And just shared some beautiful, vulnerable moments together where we did share our love and our tears and our joy. I'm so super grateful for all those beautiful things and these beautiful beings and my beautiful family. There's so much to love and so much to value and so much to appreciate, so much to honor. So just allowing myself. There's so much in my heart. So grateful for all the gifts given, all the gifts shared, all the gifts noticed, all the gifts received, all the gifts, embodied through all our ways of being. And so there is a lot coming up this week, and it's just been one of those weeks again where it's just surrender, let go, and practice non-attachment. And I've been getting more about that. And I've been having certain dreams lately too. I've really been remembering more dreams when I've been waking up in the morning. And so it's been an interesting week. So I call in the observer at different times to help me feel what I'm feeling and just let go of what I think I'm supposed to be or how I think I'm supposed to be received or show up and how I think I'm supposed to feel. Because there's a lot of judgments, the way that we've been trained and programmed, like to judge everything that we think, everything that we feel, everything that we see. And it's just a little ridiculous sometimes, like seriously. And so, yeah, just now it's like a second nature to me, really, like to have this observing part of me, this observer part of me that's always like just watching and just looking and just saying, oh, okay. And then, yeah, if I can just detach and I can see more into me and see what love is asking me or see what love is offering me. And so, I've seen some fears and think certain things come up, and it's just been really, really illuminating. Like to see where I've been holding myself back and where I've been cock blocking myself from receiving me and receiving what is right here for me and what's being offered to me always and through all things. And yeah, some things that are being offered, I don't really need to accept them either. And then other things, like really, if I just get out of my own way, it really truly is a gift for me. Yeah, if I can let go of my judgments and my attachments to how I think things should be. And so, yeah, it's just interesting for me to see more into where I wasn't accepting or allowing or including certain parts of me, where I thought they were wrong or I was wrong for feeling the way that I felt. But it's not like, yeah, that black and white. And so I'll just share a little bit about a phone conversation that I had the other day with my loving dear dad. And he just called to offer his condolences and his sympathy and his empathy and his love and care. Say how sorry he was about Abby and to check in on us and ask how we were feeling and how I was doing. And said, yeah, we really miss her, and we've been pretty sad about it. We feel happy for her, but sad for us, and I'm grateful, yeah, for everything. And yeah, it's just sometimes I feel like a little bit tongue-tied, like I'm not gonna say the right thing, or yeah, it's not gonna come out the way that I want it to, or I want it to how I want it to be received in certain ways. So it's just kind of interesting. Like this, a couple days ago, I talked to 3 of my family members in a row, and it was interesting, each conversation and where I was at during each of those conversations, and so it's really awesome, like to have that safe container and that safe place where like I totally can like be myself in all of my silly, wise, and foolish ways. And then I see like where my disallowance or my beliefs or my attachments sometimes like won't make space for that. And yeah, I'm still processing some things. But yeah, I talked to my Auntie Shelley first, and yeah, I just talked to her for a few minutes, and that's always a treat. And that's, she's a safe place for me, and I know she accepts me unconditionally, and I just, feel the same for her. Yeah, everything. And then I talked to my mom and had a long conversation with my mom. Yeah, for maybe about an hour and a half or so, and I had just genuinely asked her a question because I'd been contemplating some things about like, clearing some generational and ancestral karma and old patterns and things, and relating to certain wounds of rejection, abandonment, betrayal, and being incomplete or feeling broken in certain ways, or not enough, too much, all those things. And I just genuinely wondered, like the night before, like I wonder how moms felt about this. you know. And so I asked her, I said, I just have a genuine, sincere question for you, Mom. Um, and you don't have to answer me, or you don't have to answer right now, or there's no really right answer I'm looking for. I just really am genuinely interested in what parts of yourself have you had the most, the hardest time, the most difficult time accepting? Like, what parts of yourself, have you not been able to accept? Or what has been like the hardest parts of yourself, like for you to accept? And so she talked a little bit and gave me an answer or two, but I was like really wanting to listen and listen well so I could hear what was not said. And also like listen to what she was actually offering too. And of course, like, yeah, some of what she offered didn't seem like it related to what my question was, but it was interesting, like how like she was expressing herself and how what she decided and chose or felt comfortable sharing with me. And it was like, yeah, I super appreciated like hearing different things from her perspective. And she told me a little bit about like some family dynamics, like when she was growing up, with her and her siblings, and like with her siblings and her parents. And then also like we went into her parents and their dynamics with their parents. And so that was super interesting, like to hear certain stories or to hear like just her experience and her perspective of like, yeah, what it was to her and what it felt like for her, and then what she felt like was hers and to carry, and what was not. And yeah, so I just really enjoyed listening to her tell her story. And yeah, I didn't have like anything, any parts of me like resisting her story, because I knew it was her story and her experience. And like I know that I've done so much work like healing my own mother wounds and calling in my own like great mother to like unconditionally love all these parts of me that really don't feel worthy of love or don't feel acceptable. And like it's a work in progress and a practice and a play, yeah, that I show up for every day, just to like allow myself and to allow all of my ways and to love myself through all these ways. And so it was kind of fun, yeah. She had a visitor, and so our phone call ended, and it's like less than a minute later my dad called me, and so I got to talk with him. So it was kind of interesting, like, yeah, this interactions with family, and so yeah, it was nice to talk with him. And we talked for a few minutes, and he asked how I was feeling and how I was doing. I was just like, well, I'm just grieving right now, and it's just weird. I don't even really know, like, sometimes it's like, I don't even know how I am. I don't know how I'm doing right now. I'm okay. Like, I'm both good and not so good right now. I'm okay and not okay. Like, and that's okay too. Like, it's a mixed bag. And so making space and making room for all of it. And, yeah, so he was just sharing with me like some of the things he's been up to and what he's been interested in, and just kind of catching up that way, and just kind of sharing like about a trip that he took in November for Thanksgiving, and different things, and sharing some things about a sister, and new happenings. And I felt myself like in certain ways like feeling a little bit triggered, like, but not like reacting, like, yeah, but just like seeing this story play out in my head, or seeing some kind of like a yes, the judge come up, the judge, yeah, the judge would come up And I'd feel myself, or this part of myself, making judgments about certain things or feeling defensive about certain things. And yeah, I don't like feeling that way. And so, like, it's my habit to feel guilty about that or to just push it away. But I was just kind of allowing it to exist and just watching it. And I just remembered, oh, yeah, I am safe right here. I open my heart wider. I open my heart wider and I am safe right here. So I put one hand on my heart and one hand on my wound. On my womb. Yeah, maybe my wounded womb. And I just consciously decided to let go of like the stories and the judgments and what couldn't be. And what I felt like was being judged in me. Like it was like an old story of that I'm wrong and that I need to prove that I'm worthy. And so that's super interesting that, yeah, that old story like snuck up again, like with seemingly unrelated things. And so, yeah, I just remembered, oh, okay. And so I acknowledged that, like that, those feelings coming up and then the judgments about the feelings being wrong. Like, because, yeah, it's just like, is that wrong for me to feel that way? Like, no, it's not wrong for me to feel that way, and I don't need to judge myself for feeling that way. Like, there's a message there for me. And there's a, like, there's some part of me that's asking for love and inclusivity. Like, yeah, I don't need to tell that part of myself that I'm wrong for feeling that way, or that it's not nice, like, to feel that way. And so he was sharing about his sister. He had gone out to New York to visit his sister for Thanksgiving and just, yeah, to be with the family and to see them because it'd been a couple years. And he felt like, yeah, that was like a good time to go do it because he's not getting any younger, and he felt like it's going to be better for him to like to get around and stuff now rather than maybe like waiting till the next year. And so, like, yeah, he just got to go out there and, yeah, have a good time with family. But he was just sharing some things about what his sister's been up to, and I love my family, but sometimes like there are different personality clashes, and there are different like there's different history that yeah, like, yeah, that kind of gets in the way sometimes. And like, so I was just feeling like kind of in a way like apathetic. Like, I don't really like it's yeah, like I don't really care how this aunt really is right now. Like, I'm not a big fan of her right now, and not happy with how she treated me, and like how she minimized, dismissed, and demonized me. Yeah, and just kind of like, yeah, feeling a little butthurt about like certain things that happened on Facebook in 2020. And I'm not wanting to hold on to these grudges or hold on to these resentments, but they're there, and it's just like I'm not going to judge myself for me feeling the way that I feel right now, but I don't need to like feed them or make her wrong or make myself wrong, like, and that's just like kind of like where I'm at right now. And like, it's fine, like I wish them well, I totally wish them well, and I hope that they get everything they need, and for their soul's greatest growth and their highest learning and everything. But that doesn't mean that I want to have like a relationship with them, or that I really like want them close to me right now. And so, yeah, just like making peace with that. Like, it's okay for me to step back and to not be attached to anything, like, really. That's, yeah. Like, and it's okay, like, for me, like, not to care right now, like, about how someone else is doing. Like, because I distracted myself so much with that, like, to the detriment of myself. And so, but I was just like watching like one part of me, like,
I don't really care. I don't really care. Like, kind of, I don't care how she is. I don't really care to hear, you know. And then another part of myself was like, well, good for her, and okay, like, yeah, hope she gets what she needs, and well, that's good for her, good. Like another part of myself is just like, well, okay, well, that's fantastic. But yeah, I was just like, kind of doing my best not to judge myself for like, yeah, for those aspects that were coming up, like kind of expressing their displeasure and their distaste and their discomfort and their dis-ease around like this, how it feels right now, because it feels like, yeah, kind of shitty. Like, where I felt like I was pretty, yeah, shit on. And, yeah, devalued. And, yeah, scapegoated in certain ways and just made to feel wrong. And so it was just kind of processing like some of these things. I was starting to write about it a little bit today as I noticed certain things come up, and I was, yeah, seeing my inner child, my inner wounded child and my father wound come up to the surface. And all of that was about like how I'm wrong. Yeah, the projections and disappointments and judgments and assumptions. No room for me as I am. So I felt a little bit defensive in certain ways, or certain parts felt the need to defend certain aspects of myself. And what else wants to be said about that? What else wants to be said about that? Yeah, so I guess it's the victim that feels powerless and helpless and doesn't feel loved and doesn't feel worthy and doesn't feel included and doesn't feel validated, feels pretty invalidated. Yeah, so that's the part of myself that I'm working with right now, is that part that's been constantly undermined and invalidated. It brings up a lot of pain and a lot of guilt and a lot of shame. So, something for me, it's a gift for me to look into so I can love myself, where those parts of myself have felt so unlovable and so unloved. So I am grateful, like, for those things that trigger me, that come up and show me where I'm hurting and where I need love from me, where I can offer it to me and I can receive it for me. And the rest is just a story, really. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. But I know, like, yeah, those stories can help me see where I am, where I've denied love, where I've withheld love from me. Because it wouldn't hurt so much, if someone else rejected those parts of me that I already accepted. So, just looking at those things, those parts of me with love and compassion and empathy. And I'm glad I just remembered, like, to surrender and just take it in and just receive it as the gift that it was. Like, and it was just like all of this stuff, happens in like just milliseconds, whereas like you just remember and then like something shifts and then it like, yeah, it's a totally different kind of or level of awareness opens up to receive a wider perspective. And so, yeah, I'll maybe share a little bit more about that if there's anything else that wants to be said. But I have been noticing, yeah, little things, like little tiny things too. Just reading different messages from the Telegram chat, where my group from my womb class is like sharing different messages and support and just, yeah, different things. And so, like, yeah, with some of the women sharing, like, I'll find my inner prude, my inner prude coming up with not like a big attitude, but it's just like, well, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that, you know. And then there's another part of me that's just like, well, if that floats your boat, then you, you know, then good for you with that, you know. You enjoyed that, you know, like, so it's kind of funny and interesting, like, to see all these parts come up to play and to have their say, and yeah, in and through all these ways. It's just interesting watching all the judgments and all the assumptions and all the things, yeah, that have kind of played a part, or get to play their parts in this play. So, just appreciating that observer this week, and allowing all my ways of being. I've had a lot of good inspiration this week too, and a lot of good ideas, and some encouragement to move forward, and some new directions and new steps with certain projects and certain goals. And so that's been really nice and awesome to receive. And I've been choosing to do my morning practices, and that's been good. That's been really good. And I'm letting go of the performance pressure that I have to be any certain thing or any certain way. And that's like a work in progress and a work in practice, because man, that is, that inner tyrant Nazi slave. You know, that idealist and that perfectionist and that romantic in me, like, that wanted things a certain way. And so, yeah, there's been like some good things and some good breakthroughs in and through those ways. And gosh, I keep remembering what I'm going to say and then I'll forget again. It's kind of silly. And so, letting go of the pressure, and the pressure to be, and the pressure to perform, the pressure to be one way, one right way. And so, yeah, just practicing and showing up for my morning practices, and being easy and being gentle and being compassionate and empathetic with myself, and for all I'm going through, and for all I'm letting go of, and letting go with love. And I slowed way down the other day. Like, I gave myself permission just to, like, come sit, not rush anything, and just allow, like, what wanted to be expressed and what wanted to be moved through me. And what really helped me was remembering, like, the poems that I shared in my last video, and all those things came back to me, like, from the most insignificant movements of your own holy body. And so that, like, made me remember, helped me remember, oh yeah, it doesn't have to be something grand. It just can be like the smallest gestures and things. Like, and it doesn't even have to even be perceptible to the eye or to
to any other thing, knowing that it could just be like the smallest insignificant movement. Yeah, for my own holy body. And that took so much pressure off of me. And so I've been playing my singing bowl and I've been chanting Om I'm Saraswati, Saraswati I Swaha. Oh, I'm Saraswati I Swaha. Oh, I'm Saraswati I Swaha. And sometimes it comes out in a rhythm and sometimes it comes out in a little song. And I notice as like certain things change or my voice changes or drops or becomes higher or something, that I like judge it, or if it's not something like I think sounds good at the time, it's just like and so I've just like been noticing that, like how often I judge myself or how often I watch myself to show myself that, oh, that's not enough, or that's too much, or no, that wasn't quite right, instead of just letting it be expressed and letting go, and then receiving the next movement and letting the next thing move, and and just being so attached. But then there was something that I heard this morning that goes along with that, that was so perfect. It was so perfect, and I'll put the link in the description box because I'll need to review that for myself and for anybody else who wants to receive that. Yeah, there may be some nuggets in there. And so, yeah, just noticing different things and taking a page from my animal friends, my animal spirit companions, turtle medicine and turkey medicine. And so being at home where I am and being slowing down, being right here, not getting too ahead of myself and not romanticizing what was and what, or regretting or resenting what was. And so, yeah, that's been really helpful, just to let me be. Really, it's easier said than allowed sometimes. Yeah, but just chanting, slowing it down, and just kind of letting it emerge. And that just felt really right. And it could be whatever it was, and it didn't have to be anything other than what it was. And that's just why I love my art so much too, playing around with just the soul story collages or the paint pours, where it can just be anything that it is, or all that it is, and whatever it is, and however it is. And there's certain paintings that I like more than others, but that doesn't mean that the other ones don't have just as much value, or that they're not just as much as a gift for me to express and things. So it is kind of fun to look at certain things in those ways. And so just learning as I go. And seeing how hard on ourselves we really are. Oh my gosh, I've seen that this week. How much we expect of ourselves, and how hard on ourselves we actually are, and what we expect of ourselves, and then how we hyperfixate on certain things that we think are wrong or that are lacking, and that nobody else notices or sees in certain ways, but we've convinced ourselves of a certain story and a certain shortcoming. I think it's just so weird sometimes, how we've been taught to judge ourselves and make ourselves wrong or make the other wrong. And how it's a continuous game of that blame shame song. And so very disempowering in a lot of ways. And so I have my journal open, and this is what I was writing today. So I went to the dentist's office yesterday for a cleaning, and that went well. And then when we got back home in the early afternoon, I kind of was feeling stuck and a bit overwhelmed with what I felt I should be doing.
and how I should be doing it. Like everything seems like so much work right now. Like I've had that resistance. Like, yeah, that everything feels hard right now. Like in a way, like that's a story that one part of myself is telling, and or that's just like one way that I am feeling. Like I've had this resistance. Maybe because I've been a little burned out, like because it feels like I had been pushing a big huge boulder up a hill, and every time I got close to the top it would just roll back down and I'd have to start all over again. And it was just like, I don't think I need to do that anymore either, you know. And so that's one thing, like, that I had noticed, was that I was going from room to room to room to room in the house, like, oh, there's that to do, and there's that to do, and there's that to do, and there's that to do. And then the next room, there's that, and there's that, and there's that. And then I just feel so tired and overwhelmed, like, oh, I can't even do anything. So, like, kind of sabotaging myself before I even get started, before I even step out of the gate, you know. And just realizing, oh yeah, it's baby steps. Just break it up bit by bit and piece by piece and moment by moment and breath by breath and day by day, little by little, in every single way, because all things relate to the whole. And so there is no separation. And so it's just like, that's the all or nothing thing again, and it's Atlas again. So it's like, that's interesting that that's emerging again in a certain way. Like, when is this like, oh, okay, that's like just coming into my awareness for me to shift it, really. And like remind myself that I'm the only one that puts like that pressure on me, that I need to get it done, and I need to get it done in a certain way. And like when I just let myself be and I let myself play, then it's like effortless. And so it's like, yeah, this resistance to efforting or to hard work, you know, or to something that's going to be hard. And it's just, yeah, it is a little silly in certain ways. But like I'm seeing deeper into like some of these layers and some of these stories. And so so break it up into small steps, and day by day, bit by bit, they're all little stepping stones. Let all the rest just be or go. And so I spent some more time sorting through like some of my items in the bedroom, because we totally have cleared out our bedroom. It's been a work in progress, you know, for a little while, but everything is happening in divine order and timing. And so I think it's great that, yeah, it is the end of a chapter and the beginning of a new chapter. And also like that in between, that transition, that space, that gap between the inhale and the exhale, or yeah, in that cycle. And so just kind of allowing the room, yeah, for things to be in transition and to be in flux, and to be in the cocoon right now. Yeah, maybe that's what it is too. It's totally all about butterfly right now. And dissolving and dissolving ourselves, and then coming back together again. So, yeah, kind of felt like doing that, because I was like thinking, yeah, there's some stuff I could do downstairs, but like I kind of just let myself like just be drawn to like, you know, what I was feeling. And so I was just feeling like, yeah, let's do a little more in the bedroom. And so I've just started like just moving things around and putting things away and just taking it like one by one and one moment by one moment. And it was just easy. And so it's like, yeah, working my way around the house. And I decided also like to send some different messages to some friends that I had been procrastinating. I've been thinking about them, and so that felt good, like to check in with them, and yeah, and to accept and receive and offer those invitations myself. And so yeah, I felt good about that, and enjoyed some time with my husband, and just yeah, really appreciating what's opening up for us. and developing and cultivating brand new trust and levels of intimacy. And so, yeah, it's really awesome, like, to be exploring new things with him. And we're going to take a little vacation now that, yeah, we're ready to, like, just, yeah, go have some away time and just some us time without any distractions. And that'll be, like, really good for us and really nice. Really restful and relaxing and nourishing for us. And so I'm glad we get to choose that, receive that for ourselves. And so I also enjoyed, and I'm grateful, being with me, loving me, letting go of attachments, projections, expectations, and beliefs about what I should be and what I should be feeling, what I should be doing, or what I should be thinking. I'm just allowing, observing, witnessing, and surrendering judgments, stories, identities, beliefs about what I should not be. I'm allowing my feelings and all my parts to be love, to offer love, to allow love, to free love, to be love, to receive love. Allowing and including me as I am right now. And giving myself permission to be as I am right now. And remembering that, oh yeah, my life as it is, not the idealized version. I can receive my life as it is right now, and it's beautiful and it's amazing. Like, yeah, and so just kind of letting go of that hungry ghost too. That's the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But what's right now? What's now? What's here for me right now? Instead of, like, yeah, with my phone conversation with my dad, like, there's an ideal preference that I have, like, it's just not accessible. And what I have right now with him, it is accessible, and it is, like, where we are and where we get to work, from, or where we get to come from, where we get to operate from, like, in the space where we are now. And so if I'm not resisting that, then it opens up everything. And so it's just fun to see that in certain ways, like, where it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be ideal. Like, what is that anyway? That's just a frozen image, or a frozen picture, or an overlaid image of of something that's not real, And so it's just, like, showing me where I have resistance to how things are, and how I kind of, like, am insistent on having them how I want them to be. And, like, yeah, just seeing how I've created, like, certain patterns of suffering, or perpetuated those, even if I didn't create them myself. Like, I inherited them and I've been repeating them in unconscious ways, but, like, I'm becoming more aware of them, and so then I can shift them and, like, start to change those patterns, or establish new patterns, and then let the old patterns fall away. And so really, it's not really about subtracting or adding anything to, it's just allowing them to be what they are, and then make adjustments as necessary, or, like, through those insignificant movements, I'm just becoming aware. And so, what else wants to be shared? Oh, yeah, this was something that came up February 8th, on Tuesday. And I woke up in the middle of the night at 3:30 in the morning, and sat up in bed. I was gonna go to the bathroom. It was time for a pee break, and it was dark in my room, but I saw my dog underneath my nightstand, just clear as day, but she looked younger. It looked like a younger her. She had a longer beard, and her hair was a little darker. She wasn't gray. She was, like, maybe around the age of 5 to 7, when I remember her like at her prime, and she was just sleeping soundly underneath my nightstand. I was just like looking, and I was blinking, and I still saw her there, and I was like, well, okay. And it just gave me comfort and peace, and it just felt good, like, to know that she was there, and so she was all stretched out and sleeping comfortably and soundly. She looked about 5 to 7 years younger, with longer, lighter, fluffier hair and a shaggy beard. I sat there for a minute, just peacefully stared. And it didn't really matter that my brain was making it up, or, yeah, that maybe that was what it was. I was just comforted and happy to feel her presence and know that she was content, peaceful, and happy, and she was still with us. I miss my little bestest ever friend, and I want to record what happened and what we experienced our last week and our last day with our little Abby baby. We did have a great last week with our slabby wagons, and I'm grateful for every single day she was here with us. Yeah, so that's another video I get to record while it's still fresh. How beautiful it really was. And I'm grateful that my husband Scott got to write about that, and I just read his little memorial story and his little tribute, and that's so beautiful to me. And then continuing February 8th, I've been feeling some resentments come up around expectations and false standards of enough or good enough. There's performance pressure and getting it right, like such an old, tired, boring story. All right. Okay, silly rabbit, what are you afraid of? The fear of the unknown and being shamed. So maybe I should just see how glorious and fun it can be to play and be free and learn and grow through making glorious mistakes, beautiful, amazing corrections or demonstrations of my devotion and genuine care, love, affection, and sincerity. Not expecting so much of me and we, and trusting, allowing in this invitation, this initiation, this gift and opportunity. Let the bullshit measuring stick go, and let the old tired stories play themselves out and through these absurd caricature roles and ego identities. Let them be lovingly transformed or integrated into coherent ways of being, to know, remember, change, and grow, to relate, to cooperate, invigorate, welcome, and make the space to be whole. Been feeling anger and disappointment towards the divine feminine or the wounded feminine and her false, distorted self. I've been angry at her betrayal of herself, her rejection, her denial, her betrayal of herself. Yeah, I have been so angry about that. And so I've been so angry at myself too. And I've been so angry, like, when I see that reflected, like, on the outside of me. I have, been angry about that, like, our denial and our avoidance and our rejection and our betrayal of ourselves and of each other. I've been so angry about that. And then some different stories that have been coming up around self-pity. And, this old wound and the wounded child. The sad story that nobody listens and nobody sees, nobody hears me, nobody cares, nobody really cares for me or about me. I'm not right to be. Yeah, this is an old wound, an old story that I've seen, like, come up again and again and again. But I know it's a story, and I feel such compassion for myself, for those parts of myself that didn't feel heard and that felt invalidated, and that didn't feel worthy, and that they were told they were wrong, and to to shut up and to be silent. And so I remember feeling that way when as a kid and as a teenager, that nobody listens and nobody sees and nobody hears me, nobody cares. And that became like my self-importance, like that I was separate from everyone else, and isolating myself and feeling like the outsider and the exile. And the other sad story, everybody sees me as wrong, I'm different and I don't belong. They all see me as wrong. I'm not enough. I'm too much. I'm not measuring up. I'm not worthy to belong. I'm not good enough. A silly BS story and a bullshit song. So tired and so long. So clear these distortions within myself. Ride the spiral from within and let it spiral out. So I forgive you. I forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. And so it was just kind of looking into like, yeah, some of the things I've been through in the last 2 years, and like how challenging it has been, but like how fertile and how potent it's been, for integration and for growth and expansion. And I really do appreciate like the challenges, even though they've been really super hard sometimes. Like, yeah, it's helping me to see what I can choose and what I'm capable of, and what I'm made of, really, and how I can choose that for myself, and in honor and integrity. And so maybe I'll share a little bit more about that next time. Yeah, everything that I have received and grown through and grown with and grown into in the last 2 years. And so, yeah, grief is a portal. And I was thinking about a video that I did a couple months ago where I just had a bunch of cards, a bunch of soul collage cards, and just like going through my box and picking the ones that I was drawn to, and I had no idea like why I was drawn to them. Like, they weren't just cards that I specifically loved or liked. They were just images that kind of felt like, okay, yeah, for some reason that one, like, yeah. And I shared them in like a 2-hour video, and now like all of it is making sense, like why all those things came up. And it's all those aspects and all of these gifts really that are helping me through this growth cycle. And so maybe I'll share some of that next time. But what I'm thinking of right now is that like the lion and the tiger, and there was that one picture of that weary, tired person, like just so drained and so forlorn and in despair, almost like walking toward the light, but they were walking towards an artificial light. It was brighter than the hallway they were coming from, but it actually was a substitution and a replacement for like the true light. And so those are some of the ones I was thinking of. And the portal into grief, there was a picture of a child crying and covering their eyes, but as they were crying there were flowers coming up through their fingers, and that portal into grief. And that's has a super potent message for me right now too, and how it is a portal for growth and change and blooming from the heart, like blooming into like who we really are. And so that's all I'll share for now. And I love you, and I thank you for listening, and I hope you're well, and I hope you're choosing love for yourself. I love you, and I thank you, and I bless you, and I praise you, and I thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for playing your parts, all the parts that you play for the whole, for all of you and for all of we. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you, thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you, thank you. I love you. I thank you. I bless you. I praise you. And I'm so happy that you are here and we are here. All right, love you. Be love for yourself. We'll talk to you later. We'll see you for now.